Welcome to tonight's live stream. I am going to get started in a minute. I just need a minute to promote the live stream on social media. Okay, the live stream has been announced on social media, so I'm going to just get right into tonight's topic. I'll talk about the perfunctory later. Now, we recently heard about your Michael B. Jordan going out here and breaking up with his girlfriend, Lori Harvey. And while a lot of people have focused on your Lori Harvey's whole reasons for breaking up with Michael B. Jordan, I want to ask the critical question: did he dodge a bullet? But before I answer that, I'm going to respond to DW78 Part 2. I didn't, the YouTube didn't take the video down. I took the video down regarding that racist. And I took that video down because I do not want to give these types of ignorant people a spot on my platform. Because the whole thing is, when you're dealing with racists and you allow them to continue to speak on your platform, they go out here and bring your platform down to their level. And if I am any man of character and I have any sort of standard for my platform, I'm going to shut things down like I've done before with the Ice Cube videos and the Passport videos. I do not allow ignorant people to come on my platform and run my platform, because if you're a leader, you are going to run your platform. Your platform is not going to be run by others. And the whole thing is, when you're dealing with ignorant people, you don't sit there and argue with stupid. No, you cut stupid off at the legs and don't give them a platform to express their ignorance. Let the stupid stay with the stupid. And that's what I did with this racist who wants to sit here and say that, oh, black people don't write books. No, black people do write books, but these white supremacists who control the publishing industry, they use their white females to keep those black creators from coming to platforms, and they box them out. And I've known this ever since the 90s, when I tried to submit publications, and many other authors had to go the independent route, like Elin Harris and your Michael Baisden, because they ran into the same resistance from the white females who have control over the publishing industry. Now, these racists want to sit there and say, oh, they don't know proposals by color, but they sure do know how to keep people of color out of the publishing industry. And they sure know how to box black men out and keep us from having a voice. That's the main reason why we had so many black men come to YouTube, because your white supremacists were controlling the media to the point where black men were never given an opportunity to have a voice, as they went out here and put these black feminists like Oprah Winfrey on their platforms. And as these black feminists came on the platforms, what they did was talk about the bad black man, the lazy black man, the no good black man, the ignorant black man. This is what they published for over a decade throughout the 90s, how the black women couldn't find a good man. Meanwhile, brothers like myself who were querying these publishers, we couldn't get in the door because your white females and some black females were boxing out black men and preventing us from having our say on these platforms. Yes, they would let in one or two bootlicks to say that it was all fair and diverse, but in most cases, your black creators like myself, we couldn't get on a platform because your mainstream media run by white females would box us out. So this racist and his friends don't want to believe these facts, but there are others out here who have talked about it at length. I mean, you have your Gonzalo Lira, aka Coach Red Pill, who talked about the publishing industry. We've had guys like Diversity in Comics, also known as Richard C. Meyer, talk about how men are being boxed out by these females who control comics. You've got Thinking Critical. You've also got guys like Ethan Van Sciver, who have all talked about whisper networks that white women have used to box men out of the comic book industry. But this racist doesn't want to believe it. But I don't have time to sit here and argue with ignorance, because if you argue with ignorance, you give ignorant people power, and I'm not giving an ignorant person any power on this platform. Now, with that being said, what I'm going to do is get back to the topic, which is did Michael B. Jordan dodge a bullet? Now, when we take a critical examination of your Michael B. Jordan has all the traits that many black women sit here and say that they want. Now, your Michael B. Jordan is an A-list actor, and as an A-list actor, he basically meets a lot of the criteria of being the high value man or the good black man many black women say that they want. And your Lori Harvey possibly hit the jackpot with your Michael B. Jordan at 25 years old. She practically got the right man at the right time. However, your Lori Harvey, because she was so caught up in feminist rhetoric, didn't see the opportunity that the Most High has blessed her with. No, your Lori Harvey, because she has bought into the feminist narrative of a woman has all the time in the world, she decided to break up with your Michael B. Jordan as he was looking to get serious with her. So that's the whole thing that makes me think that Michael B. Jordan dodged the bullet, because here you have a woman who has the right man at the right time. Unfortunately, she is not in the right mind. And that is the big problem I see with your Lori Harvey. She's in the right place at the right time. Unfortunately, she cannot capitalize on the opportunity the Most High has blessed her because she does not have the right mind. The mouth is a little dry. But that's what happens when you come up in a dysfunctional upbringing, and that dysfunctional upbringing probably came from the household that she was in with her stepfather, Steve Harvey, the author of Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. Now, we know that Steve Harvey is one of the biggest simps in all of media, and his book, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man, was one of the books I used as a source when I was writing my book, Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, and one of my sources for my book, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single. And your Steve Harvey is influence on his stepdaughter probably is one of the reasons why she passed on one of the great opportunities to pick up and get married and be married at the right age. She's sitting here thinking, oh, I'm going to act like this lady, but I'm going to think like a man. Unfortunately, all she was doing was thinking like a feminist, and she thought herself right out of a relationship with a pretty decent, by many people's eyes, partner for a relationship. Now, your Lori Harvey, again, this she's following the same mindset I have heard many feminist, indoctrinated women go talk about, and that is believing they have all the time in the world. Now, the main reason why your many of your women today believe they have all the time in the world is because they have been told a lie by your white feminists. Now, your white feminists have this mindset that men and women are the same, and that's the thing that messes up many of your American women today. And I go in depth in this in my upcoming book, The Woman Crisis. Now, your feminists believe that men and women are the same, and because they believe men and women are the same, that they are at the same place at the same age. However, that's not the case at all. Your men and women aren't in the same place at the same age. No, when a man is at 24, he's really in a place where he's just starting to get his life together. And usually a man doesn't really start getting himself established until he's about maybe 30 or 35, which is where Michael B. Jordan was. Where Michael B. Jordan was at the peak, at the starting of the peak of his career, and he was really starting to get to a place where he was really starting to establish himself as an actor, coming off one of the biggest box office hits, which was Black Panther. And he was also coming off several other movies. So your Michael B. Jordan was on his way to getting closer to the, as I see it, the peak of his career. And he was on his way. But the whole thing is, your Lori Harvey, she's sitting there at 25, not understanding that she is actually at the peak of her place where she can go out here and pick the best partner, because usually a woman can pick the best partners from the age range of about 20, I'd say at 20 or to up until about 25, because you know at 18 you really don't know much about anything, but usually around 25 that's when your brain is starting to fully mature, and that's when you're starting to really see where the partners are as related to a good man. But your Lori Harvey, because she buys into the feminist narrative, what happens with your Lori Harvey is she's believing the lie that she has all the time in the world to get with a quality man. Unfortunately, that whole lie has practically set her from going on the road to becoming a wife to becoming a bust down. Because when you're at 25 years old and you're with a quality man and he's talking about how he wants to go out here and build with you, that's the time to start looking to close the deal, because a quality man like a Michael B. Jordan, that's when when you get him, you go out here and you have to close the deal on that man when he's ready to marry you. Because the whole thing is, many of the women indoctrinated into feminism believe that, oh, I pick the boyfriend, but they don't understand it's the man who goes out here and makes the proposal to make you a wife. So, yes, you picked the boyfriend, but the whole thing is the goal is to go from being the girlfriend in courtship to receiving the marriage proposal. And that's where your Lori Harvey fumbled the football. She was this close to the end zone as related to scoring the husband. And unfortunately, she missed out on getting with a quality husband because she just went out here and decided, oh, I don't want the quality husband. I think I'm going to go out here, let this guy go, and go out here, have my fun, go out here and have all of have my career. And then hopefully I will find a better deal. This is something that I talk about in depth in The Woman Crisis as one of the things that leads to women missing out on great partners. And what happens is that they let go of a decent man because they want to go out here and get a better deal, and they hold out for the better deal letting quality men pass them by. And then what happens is that once they hit their mid 30s or their early 40s, what happens is the pool of quality men that they're looking for that was available in their early 20s isn't there anymore. And what happens is those quality men have all gone out here, married other people. They have gone out here and started building their families with other women. They have started building relationships and building a home with another woman. And the woman who went out here living her best life and now looking for a partner, she really has practically cost herself an opportunity at marriage, because what happens is that all the quality guys are already taken at by smarter women who saw this quality man, decided to get involved with him, decided to accept his marriage proposal, and close the deal on that guy when they were 25, 26, 27, or even 30 years old. So those women wound up closing the deal on a guy like Michael B. Jordan. And what happens is they wind up missing out on it. And when they're out here missing out on it, they go out here at 30, 31, 32, 33, and then they have to compete with a new group of women. One, and two, they have to compete to get the attention of a shrinking pool of men. So they're sitting there, like Lori Harvey's sitting there thinking, oh, the pool is going to be the same. And this is the way many feminist indoctrinated women think. Oh, the pool is going to be the same. The guys are going to be the same. But the whole thing is life is changing for these women. And as life changes for these women, they start to realize that the marketplace has changed and the people who used to be interested in them just aren't interested in them anymore. So those guys that they were out here given a pass to, when they go back into the social marketplace, they find that those guys are not really interested in them. They're not really concerned with them, because they've already gone out here and said, okay, we saw you before, and you said you wanted to live your best life. You wanted to have your hot girl summers. You wanted to go on your girls' trips. And now that I've seen your character from the past, I can't really think about you as a wife, because you're not really interested in helping me when I was out here looking to start. So how can I bring you on as a wife when you're not ready, when you said you weren't ready, and now you want to say that you're ready? Unfortunately, he's in a different place. So this is one of the big mistakes that your Lori Harvey, I believe, has made. She's sitting there thinking she's going to get a better deal, and what she does is go out here and get nothing at all. So what she's sitting there thinking is, I'm going to get this better deal. I'm going to get this rich guy, because she's dated a lot of rich guys. And she's thinking that there's going to be another guy coming up. And I don't think there's going to be another black man coming up. Now, with your Lori Harvey, I also believe that one of the reasons why she dumped Michael B. Jordan is because they have rumored that she was getting involved with some white dude. And I believe that really is one of the reasons why she wanted to get rid of Michael B. Jordan, because when it comes down to some of these black females who deify and worship the white man, they see an opportunity to get something that a Michael B. Jordan couldn't give them, and that possibly could be a mixed child. So this could also be a reason why your Lori Harvey went out here and decided to get rid of Michael B. Jordan, and it is because she saw this white man who many of these black females deify and worship, and she saw the opportunity to get a mixed child with this man. So this could be the other reason why your Lori Harvey decided decided to leave your Michael B. Jordan, a quality black man, because he could give her something that these black men, like Michael B. Jordan, just couldn't give them. And that really shows why your Michael B. Jordan, as I see it, possibly dodged a bullet. Now, a lot of people are saying, oh, again, your Lori Harvey really messed up here, but I can see how the Most High has really blessed your Michael B. Jordan and made it where he has dodged a bullet, because it's better to find out things about a woman's character before you get involved with her, because if you find out things about her before you get involved with her, what will happen is that you will find out that the problems that this woman has before they become your problems in a marriage. So this was a blessing for your Michael B. Jordan, because if a woman is not ready to be a wife, then you are missing out on nothing at this point, because you're not going to have to spend time with this woman, and time is one of those major intangibles that you cannot really get back once it's gone. Once you lose time, time is gone, and once you lose time, you can never get it back. Yes, Michael B. Jordan lost 1.5 years of his life in courting Lori Harvey, but that's nothing compared to over being with this woman for 5 years, 10 years, or 15 years. And then she goes out here and gives you the statement, I'm not happy. Because what a lot of females like to do is they'll get with a guy like a Michael B. Jordan, and what they will do is stay with that man, and they'll stay with him talking about, oh, I'm not happy. And then when they talk about I'm not happy, then what they want to do is they want to file for divorce. And then once they file for a divorce, they take half of your assets in a community property state like California. So your Michael B. Jordan, yes, he's broken up with your Lori Harvey, but it's better that he breaks up here 1.5 years in with your Lori Harvey than break up 5 to 15 years in a relationship with this woman in a marriage. Because if he breaks up with this woman inside of a marriage, what will happen is he will wind up in a divorce where he will lose half of his assets, and he will wind up in a situation where he is economically poorer, and this woman is making financial benefits at his expense. So that's one way your Michael B. Jordan has dodged a bullet. The other thing that led to him, as I see it, dodging a bullet is he didn't have any kids with this woman. Because if he were to have had kids with this woman, that would have also been a nightmare, and he would have been stuck in a situation where he would have to pay lots of child support. And having to pay lots of child support to kids, and then the kids having to be a part of this situation, that's not really beneficial for your Michael B. Jordan. I mean, imagine if he had kids with this woman, and those kids, they would not really get good care. Because if you've got a woman out here talking about how she wants to go out here and have her fun and have her career, that's not a place where you want your kids to be in, because your kids' emotional needs aren't going to get met. Your kids' economic needs aren't going to get met. And she's going to be out here with her girlfriends on Friday night having those little hot girl parties and going out here acting like she's single, and she's not going to be ready to be a wife or a mother to those children. So your Michael B. Jordan is dodging a bullet here, because you have to really think about the values a woman has when you get married to a woman. You really have to think about the values of this woman, because the values she has are going to be the values your children are going to get taught. And that's something your Michael B. Jordan, as I see it, really needed to think about. What values are going to be taught to his children? And if this woman is already showing you that she's not ready to be a wife or a mother, then you really shouldn't consider her for any serious relationship. And this is the right time for them to break up, as I see it. I mean, this is the perfect time for Michael B. Jordan to break up with this woman, because when you're going out here and you're courting a woman, usually you knew within 6 months whether or not woman is going to be wife material. And within 6 months, you're going to know if this woman is ready for marriage. And I guess he probably talked to her about marriage, and she decided not to go out here and get married to Michael B. Jordan. So it's better for him to end this now and not waste any more time. And I've talked about this before as related to courtship. You have to, most people, you don't want to waste your time dealing with a man or a woman who is not ready for marriage. So the faster you break up, the better it is for both of you. And yes, it will hurt for a minute, but the whole thing is that you're not dealing with a person who isn't wife material, and you're not wasting time that you could use to be with somebody who is wife material, and waste time to either get stringing things further along when you can have that time to go look for a partner who is right for you. DWT 1975, thank you for the super chat. He says, man, it's terrible to see all these successful brothers out here looking for love in all the wrong places. And that's really sad, because yes, women out here are there are quality women out here, but these guys have to stop looking for the women at the red and white chicken place, or these places where there are women who are not interested in marriage. So you have to go out and go to places where there are women who are interested in building. You have to go to places where there are women interested in putting in the work. So a lot of guys, they waste their time going to places where the women aren't really interested, and that's a major mistake that many black men make. Thank you for the Cash App, Douglas. I really appreciate it. If you guys want to donate to the Cash App, you can do so as well. And if you want to drop a super chat, you can drop a super chat as well. So I'm going to take a minute to talk about the SJS Direct 2021 books, ISIS Legacy and E-Steam Horror of the Hyena Woman. Both of these books are now available on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. And these are great positive stories featuring black characters that I think your families will enjoy. So if you guys could head over to Amazon.com and pick these up in paperback and Kindle format, you can get some great positive black fiction, and you can also help out the channel as well. And I also want to take a minute to tell everybody about my upcoming comic, John Haynes at Death's Door, which is going to come to Kickstarter on June 22nd. And if you want to become a part of that Kickstarter, you can sign up for the mailing list to be notified on the Kickstarter on June 22nd. So the stream isn't over. This is just a short promo because I've got 39 in the room and I've got 21 likes. So let's get the likes up as well. And I'm going to get back into why your Michael B. Jordan dodged a bullet. And again, a lot of successful brothers, one of the problems they have is their perception of self. And a lot of successful brothers, we have to start understanding our value as men. And we have to understand that as the head of our families, we have to look for wives who can build with us. So you can't go out here dealing with every other female out here. And whenever you have a female like a Lori Harvey, you have to charge her to the game, because she's showing you that she is not a woman who is ready for marriage. She is not ready to be a wife. So what you need to do is let her go, because she's shown you something about her character that shows you that she isn't wife material. And because she's shown you she's not wife material, what you have to do is let her go and then focus on someone who is interested in building with you. So it's very important for a man to understand the whole thing with when you're looking for a wife, you're looking for a woman who will be a helpmeet and a support to you in building your family and building your family's wealth. those are two very important things because the picking the wrong woman can really mess up your life. And this is a point that I make in my upcoming book, John Haynes, 1987, where one of the characters says, you have to be careful who you give a crown to. And you have to be very careful about who you give a crown to, because if you give the wrong woman your crown, she will wind up making ruins out of your kingdom. So that's why you have to be very careful about who you give a crown to, because you don't want to give your crown to a woman who is not fit to be a queen. So that's something you really have to think about when you're dealing with many women. And guys like Michael B. Jordan, I believe they need to take a course on this type of stuff, because as a man, you have to be very careful about who you get involved with, because again, if you give your crown to the wrong woman can take your kingdom into ruins, and she can make a complete mess of your life. So that's one of the things Michael B. Jordan has avoided dealing with your Lori Harvey. And a lot of people, they're not really counting the blessings that your Michael B. Jordan has received. And got some Kevin Samuels cult members in the chat. So we've got another one I've got to block. And again, the Kevin Samuels cult, they don't like that I'm bringing in messages that run counter to theirs. They want to be the talented 10th, the high value men. But the whole thing is, I want to help men become responsible stewards under the Most High. And I want to use guys like Michael B. Jordan as an example of what happens when you understand your value as a man. Because, again, Michael B. Jordan hasn't really lost anything here. As I see it, Michael B. Jordan has really been the winner in this situation, because at 35 years old, he's in a good place where he can go out here and try to find another young partner and build a marriage and a family with that woman. He can go out here and find another quality woman, and he can go out here and build a family with that woman. So he is not in a bad place at all at 35. Again, he's starting to rise. He hasn't hit his peak, because usually most guys hit their peaks in their mid 40s, early 50s. So he's in a very good place as related to his career. He's really in a good place to start a family, and he just needs to find the right partner. And that's why I say he dodged a bullet, because this could have ended badly for Michael B. Jordan. And we could have been reading about him 4 or 5 years later after hearing Lori Harvey talking about she's not happy, how she wants to go out here and live the best years of her life, how she's missing out on everything, and her going out here and basically abandoning her family so that she could go out here and live it up and be ratchet, similar to what we're seeing with Ayesha Curry. I mean, what we're seeing with Ayesha Curry right now could have been what Michael B. Jordan could have been dealing with. And it's a blessing that he's not dealing with that situation that your Steph Curry is currently dealing with, because your Steph Curry is dealing with a nightmare with his wife going out here talking about how she wants the attention of other men. His wife going out here posing nude in all sorts of pictures and seeking attention from other men. And that's not a good place for a man to be with his wife, because your wife is a reflection of you. And when your wife is out here acting crazy, acting wild, and acting out of pocket, that reflects badly on you, because it sends a message to the world that you are a weak man and you are not a man that anybody should respect. So again, getting involved with the wrong woman can practically mess you up, and it can mess you up to the point where it makes you optically look bad. Now, another example of this is Will Smith and his wife, Jada Pinkett. Now, your Jada Pinkett has gone out here and basically emasculated Will Smith, basically put him in the position of a child, basically put him in the role of a child, and basically stripped him of his manhood, stripped him of his dignity, and stripped him of all of his intangibles of manhood, and basically embarrassed this man and made him look like nothing. That's what happens when you get involved with the wrong woman. When you get involved with the wrong woman, she can go out here and really make you look bad. And that's another thing that your Michael B. Jordan has dodged a bullet on. He's not in a situation with a woman like a Jada Pinkett who is looking to emasculate him, a woman looking to humiliate him, and a woman looking to make him look really weak. That's something he's really dodged a bullet on here as related to this Lori Harvey. And your Lori Harvey, again, she doesn't look like a woman who is ready to be a wife. She wants to go out here and live her life. She wants to follow the feminists. And again, she's not understanding that she doesn't have as much time as she thinks. A lot of these women like Lori Harvey think they have all the time in the world, not understanding that 25 is 5 years from 30. And when you hit 30, the world practically changes because, again, once you start to hit 30, you really start to see the pool of quality men start to shrink because a lot of those quality men, once they hit the 35 or 40, they really start to get established. They start laying the foundations for where they want to go, and they start establishing their standards, and they go from their simp phase in their late teens and early 20s, and they start really getting serious. And when they start looking at you as related to your values and your character, that's when they start to say, okay, this woman who was out here fooling around in the streets, this is not somebody I want out here with me because this is going to reflect badly on me if this female cannot carry and conduct herself in a respectable manner. Because if you're out here having your good time, going out here to the clubs, going out here to the bars, going out here fooling around with all of these guys like your Pookies, your Ray Rays, your June Bugs, your Skillets, your Mans, your Bobbies. The guys are not going to be sitting there thinking, oh, I want to marry this woman. I want to build with this woman because she's out here living her so-called best life. But the whole thing is, it's not putting on the best image for that woman. And it makes that woman really look bad because she's out here with the whoremonger males. And every second you're out here with a whoremonger male, this reflects really badly on a woman because when you're out here with the whoremonger male, you're really damaging your image and your reputation. So that's something many of the feminist indoctrinated women really don't think about. They really don't think about the being involved with the whoremonger male. They're just thinking, oh, I'm having a good time. But the whole thing is that so-called good time can lead to hard times later on because every time you go out here with this whoremonger male, it's basically, again, damaging your image, damaging your reputation. And every time you're with this guy and you start to get sexually involved with this man, you form spiritual bonds with that man, and that makes it where you cannot connect with a quality partner. Now, that possibly could be one of the reasons why Lori Harvey wanted to reject your Michael B. Jordan, because your Michael B. Jordan, if he is a quality man, he is going to start establishing rules and order on a woman he's looking to be his wife, and that's something many of these modern women, they don't want to hear. Many of the feminist indoctrinated modern women don't want to hear about rules, structure, and order from a man, especially a woman who has grown up not with an actual father, but a stepfather like Steve Harvey. They're used to doing whatever they please. And the whole idea of a man establishing boundaries, rules, and order on them, this makes these women extremely uncomfortable because they're not used to male authority. They're not used to leadership. But many women who do come from a home with a father, they want to see a man being a leader. They want to see a man setting order. They want to see a man setting a direction. And that's something that is very important for many women out here who are marriage minded. They want to see leadership from a man. And if they don't see leadership from a man, that's a major thing that really makes them uncomfortable. I mean, if you listen to many women, they want to see a man being a leader. And that's one of the problems they have with Junebug and all of these beta males out here. Yes, these men can go out here and talk a good game, but the whole thing is they look at their actions. And when they look at their actions, they don't see a man being a leader. So that's one of the things that frustrates many women out here about guys. They want to see leadership coming from a man where he's setting a direction and a course. And the only women who have a problem with men who set a direction and a course are usually your feminists or your feminist indoctrinated women. Now, your feminist indoctrinated women, like your Lori Harvey, they have a problem with a man setting direction. They have a problem with a man setting tone. They want to go out here and, again, have the good time, not understanding that there's a time to get serious, and you can have your good times with your husband later on. Unfortunately, they don't have the discipline or the patience to go on with a man. So what they do is they want to get away from that man so they can go out here and be so-called free. But the whole thing is what they call freedom is basically them heading towards a prison known as Bust Downtown, because the so-called freedom you have when you're young turns into a prison when you get older, and the prison that you're in when you get older, that's a nightmare, because you're by yourself or you're with some pets and you're not connecting with people anymore, because all the little girlfriends that you had the good times with, many of those women, they're going to get married, or they're going to become baby mamas, or they're going to get caught up in their job, and they're not going to be there to have good times with. But when you have your good times with your husband, you're going to have some great times. Like 0206 says, yes, the best times you have is with your husband, because he can go out here and give you fun times you'll never have with your girlfriends. He can give you fun times you'll never have at a job. I mean, jobs are just a place where you just go to make money. But when you're with your husband, that's a special time. And those type of memories, they just stay with you, from what I've heard. I mean, people who are married, they go out here and they can have the abundant life as I see it, because the Most High, he did make women for men, and he made women so that they could be a partner to a man in a marriage. And the main reason why God put men and women here is to, one, receive his gift of salvation, and two, so that they could be fruitful and multiply in marriage. So your Lori Harvey, she wants to throw away marriage so that she can have those so-called good times at the bar. But I can tell you, those times get really old and really get boring over time, because you go to the same place, you drink the same drinks, you hang out with the same people, and the whole thing is you're sitting there with the same people talking about the same stuff, and that gets old really fast. I remember watching the movie Marty, where Marty Paletti realized that he had a great lady that he was about to get with, and he was going to give that lady up so he could be with his friends, and he realized that his friends were just sitting there talking about Mike Hammer, talking about foolishness, and realized that it gets old. And once it gets old, you're stuck in this hole and you can't get out. Yeah, that's true, 0206. The boss doesn't care about anybody. All he wants to do is make some money, and he's just using you to support his wife. That's so true. He's using you to go out here and give his wife a good time, and going out here, he's having good times, and you're missing out on the best times of your life. So that's what your Lori Harvey doesn't understand. She's like, oh, I want to go out here and have these good times with these white guys and all these other guys, and all these guys are going to do is sadly use this woman for her body, get their taste of the atomic waste after she drops the skid mark thong, and then they're going to be on their way. And she could have been with a husband and she could have had a really good life. But now Michael B. Jordan is going to be in a place, I'm hoping he's still focused on marriage, because the worst thing he could do is either go out here and get with the Beckys like he did before, or worse, turn into a whoremonger male. Now, if he gets with the Beckys, what's going to be sad here is he's going to miss out on an opportunity to build a black family. And having a black family is something that I believe every black man should aspire to go for, because there's no love like black on black love. And having a black wife is one of the most beautiful things you could have in life, is having a black wife. But the thing that I would really sad to see of him getting with a Becky is because the Beckys, again, a lot of them are gold diggers, a lot of them are hypergamous, and a lot of them use black men, and they use black men to go out here and find out what the eggplant is like, and they also use them as a sexual fetish, and then they also use them to get money out of them. So that's something I don't want to see happen to Michael B. Jordan, because a lot of these white women, when they see an established black man, they see a way for them to get a come up, and they also see a way for them to go out here and find a guy to use. So Computer Robots asks the question, when a woman says, I don't owe my husband no obligation, even though she read the Bible, what is that? That tells you that woman is not right for being a wife, and she doesn't know her role as a woman, because a woman who is a helpmeet in a marriage understands she has a responsibility to serve her husband, just like her husband has a responsibility to serve her. And again, it's just like he said in the New Testament. I mean, the wives are supposed to, the husband is supposed to love the wife as he loves the church, and he's supposed to treat the wife well, and the wife is supposed to submit to his authority, and they're both supposed to love each other. So that's part of a marriage. And again, yes, there are going to be good days and there's going to be bad days, but you have an obligation because you made vows to the Most High. And when you make vows to the Most High, you have to respect those vows, because you are not going out here making a vow to a man. You are making a vow to the living God. And when you make a vow to the living God, you need to understand your words need to be true. And that says a lot about your character and your integrity. So that's something that a lot of women who are indoctrinated into feminism don't understand. They're sitting there thinking, I don't have any obligations, but a marriage is an obligation. You are making a promise to God to be with this man. And if you're not ready to make that promise, then you need to go to the streets like your Lori Harvey is going. Your Lori Harvey is in the streets right now. She's sitting here in the streets, and she's messed up one of the biggest opportunities for marriage, and she's going to be feeling this later on. She's really going to be feeling this mistake that I believe she's making, and she's going to have a lot of regrets about it. Now, your Michael B. Jordan has nothing to regret. I mean, he has basically, again, he's not missed much time. I mean, 1.5 years in a relationship isn't that long, but he's not really missing too much. He can go out here, and if he gets himself right, he can go out here and get himself in a place where God can place a quality wife in front of him. 0206 makes a good point. If your issues that you have not resolved in your previous relationships, it won't disappear with someone of another color, which is very true. I talk about this in my book, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single. I talk about how, yes, you can go out here and get yourself a white man, but you're still going to have the same problems. It's basically going to be like same issues, different color. I talk about this in Why. Talk about this in depth in a chapter of Why 70% of Black women are single. So if you're having issues with a Black man, and then you go over to a white man, the same issues are going to arise. And when this white guy starts to talk about getting serious, your Lori Harvey is going to talk about she wants to live her best life. And again, the same problems are going to come up. But the whole thing is that you can't build with this kind of woman because she isn't in a place where she's ready to talk about getting serious. But women who are talking about getting serious, they want to build with their husband, and they want a husband because they want to go out here and build a home. They want to build a family. And if you're, that's the whole reason for going out here and looking for a partner. Because if you're out here looking for a partner, you're not looking to just have a good time like Madison Avenue and Hollywood tell you. No, a courtship is a serious matter, and it's for people who want to go out here and are looking for marriage. And that's something many people really don't understand these days. They go out here looking for a date, but the whole thing is dating is a social construct by Madison Avenue and Hollywood. Courtship has a predetermined goal, and a predetermined goal is to get married at the end of a courtship. So I looked at your Lori Harvey, and again, she's really messing up. And Todd's making a good point. It's no different than what happened to Patti LaBelle, who is in a bad situation. She's with basically a child. And then there's Terry McMillan, who went out here and got a child. And again, these women want the younger men thinking that they can control them. But the whole thing is, no man wants to be in a codependent relationship where the woman has power over him. That's very emasculating. And a lot of females, they think that, oh, I'll get this younger guy. But the whole thing is, the younger guy is not somebody on your level, the same way an 18-year-old is not on the level of a man my age, which is 48 years old. A 18-year-old is not on my level, and a younger guy is not on that woman's level. That's why it's important for young people to come together and within a certain age range, and that way you can have a relationship where the two of you can grow together. And that's another part of Michael B. Jordan is dodging. He's not dealing with a woman who is ready to grow with him. And that's something when you're looking for a marriage, you want a woman with good values who can grow with you, and somebody who can bond with you, and both of you can grow together. That's something people really don't think about too much as related to relationships, because many people get caught up in looks, and because they get caught up in looks, they're not really thinking about, okay, am I going to be able to grow and mature with this person? Are we going to be able to grow together as a couple? Are we going to be able to grow closer in our marriage under God? And is our relationship with God going to grow and get stronger? That's another thing people aren't really thinking about, is how is your relationship with God going to grow? And that's something that many men and women out here really need to think about, is how is your relationship with the Most High going to grow? That's something that I really think more men and women need to think about. How is your relationship with God going to grow? Because when God puts a man and a woman together, he wants them to grow together and grow closer with him to. And as you're growing closer with him, you are doing his work on earth, and you're focused on being servants of God together. That's something I think more Black women really need to think about, other than having a good time or having a career. How are you going to serve the Most High? Because your service to the Most High and building wealth with the Most High, spiritual wealth, this is very important as related to not only your life in this world, but also your life in the next world. That's another part that people really need to think about as related to relationships, is how are you going to grow spiritually, and how are you going to build spiritual wealth? Because yes, you have your wealth here on earth that's tangible, but the whole thing is, this wealth here is going to decay, it's going to rot, it's going to fall apart, but we have to focus on building spiritual wealth and spiritual foundation in Christ, and bearing those fruits of the Spirit. And that's something that you also have to think about as related to a marriage and a relationship. So that's something else a lot of people really don't think about. They really don't think about their marriage, and they don't think about their relationship to God, and they don't think about how they're going to grow together as servants of the Most High and stewards of the Most High. Those are things black men have to really think about when they're considering a partner. It's something I think about if I were to consider a partner. I want to think about how that relationship with God is going to work with this person. And that's something I believe Michael B. Jordan should really count his blessings on, because if this woman is so immature, she's not ready for this. But he has to think about how what type of relationship he wants to have with God and what type of woman he wants to have in his life to be a steward with God. He has to think about these things because they're very important in a partner. And if your partner is immature and she's out here talking about how she wants to have a good time and wants to focus on a career, she's got feminist frames of thinking, and these feminist frames of thinking, they're going to derail her life. Hello, Sir Leo. Glad to see you here. And that's something you really want to think about as related to a partner. And again, Michael B. Jordan, as I see it, has dodged a bullet. He's really dodged a major bullet in his life because he could be stuck with the wrong woman, and the wrong woman could derail his life. So it's better for a woman to go out here and leave you early on than for you to be in a relationship with the wrong one and that wrong one take you down a bad road. So as I see it, your Michael B. Jordan is in a very blessed place, and in that very blessed place, he can avoid dealing with a woman who is just, as I see it, not mature and sitting here talking about childish things and not ready to put away childish things. And it's really sad because I see this with a lot of women in their 20s. They don't want to put away childish things, and sadly, they wind up becoming, as I see it, teenagers stuck in arrested development. And I talk about this in my book, The Woman Crisis. I talk about how some women get stuck in a place of arrested development where they're still mentally 16 to 19 years old. And that's not a place you want to be, still being 16 to 19 years old at 25, 26, 27. And even I've seen a woman as old as 60 and 70 years old. They grow old, but they never grow up. And that's something that means the corporate America has done, because by design, they don't want women to grow up. And that's because they think that if a woman grows up, she won't be focused on buying products, but she'll be focused on her family. But she should be focused on her family and not focused on trying to be a 40 or 50-year-old teenager, like I've seen with Halle Berry and many other actresses. They are just still winding up being teenagers and never growing up. And it's really embarrassing to watch a 45, 50-year-old woman out here and she's just acting like a teenager and not being a woman. And that's something a man, again, has to think about, because if your woman is acting like a child, that reflects badly on you. And it says that you're not leading your household, because a woman is supposed to get older. She is supposed to mature, and she's supposed to be an example to her children, especially her daughters, of how a woman is to carry and conduct herself. Yeah, it is very true. I want people to focus on the spiritual 0206 because, yeah, you don't want to wind up missing out on the kingdom because you're focused on the world. And again, a God-centered man is focused on ensuring that his family is in God, in the order of God. So that's something that I really want people to think about, because again, the father is the steward who is the head of the family, but the mother is the helpmeet. She has an important role in teaching the children. And if she's not in the right place, she can't teach her children about the Most High, living God, and she can't teach them about being servants of God and stewards of God. She cannot teach them if she's not in the right place herself. So that's very important for most women out here. And that's why when I look at Michael B. Jordan, he dodged the bullet, because you want to make sure that your wife is spiritually right. And you want to make sure that your wife is someone who is focused on the spiritual and somebody who is focused on a relationship with the Most High so that she can teach your children about the Most High and teach them how to be of service to the living God. That's what you want in a wife. That's what you want. That's what a quality woman has. These are the traits of a quality woman. And it's clear to me that your Lori Harvey didn't have the traits of a quality woman. And what happened was your Michael B. Jordan dodged a bullet because at least he found out in time this woman isn't wife material, and he didn't wind up getting caught up in a situation where he would be stuck with a woman who isn't wife material. So I thank God that he did find out in time because this could have been a bad situation for him. Now, his whole direction now is he needs to start really rethinking about things because yes, while she made a mess, he has possibly made some mistakes. So now he has to take a assessment of self to figure out where he went wrong. But when in his assessment, he has to realize, look, don't think about this as I want to go get me a white woman or I want to go out here and get somebody else. No, this isn't about that. This isn't about black women in general. This is about one bad black woman. And the whole thing is there are a lot of quality black women out here. So your Michael B. Jordan shouldn't get discouraged while thinking, oh, there's no quality black women. No, you just found one bad one and you didn't really lose much time. So go out here and look for another quality sister to have a relationship with. And when it comes down to courting, you might go through maybe 1 or 3 courtships, and that's perfectly fine when you're looking for a wife. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it's better to find out that it doesn't work before you marry the wrong woman. And that's what courtship is all about. So that's something that many guys really don't think about. They really don't think about courtship, but I want guys to really think about courtship and think about what happened to Michael B. Jordan, because this is what happens in courtship. It's all about finding out who the right woman is and not feeling like you're forced to go out here and rush to just get any woman. It's about finding the right woman for you. So that's why I say Michael B. Jordan dodged a bullet, because he found out this woman wasn't the right one. And the whole thing is now he has to trust in the Most High living God to lead him to a quality wife. And the Most High, if he is faithful, will find that wife. And again, everything works for God's righteousness and glory. And him finding out that this is the wrong one works for God's righteousness and glory. So this is all a blessing for your Michael B. Jordan. It's really a blessing for him because he is finding out, okay, this is the wrong woman for me, but now I have to go out here and act like a man of character. We got 41 in the room and 38 likes. Let's get the likes up. That will help with the algorithm. And the whole thing is that Michael B. Jordan is not in a bad place. He's in a very good place. And it's all up to him to stay in it with the Most High and stay in it as related to working with the Most High. That's all he has to do here as related to things as I see it, but he hasn't really lost anything. And he's in a, very good place. But the whole thing is that he has to really sit here and take that look at himself. And then after he takes that look at himself, then go out here and pursue a relationship with another woman. So when I look at this whole situation, again, yes, Lori Harvey is out here. She's talking foolishness. She's being silly. But the whole thing is Michael B. Jordan has to be a man in this place. And he, as a man, he has to say, okay, she wants to go out here and be with this dude. Let her go be with that dude. Charge her to the game. Keep it moving. And then after he keeps it moving, move on to better things and move on to a better relationship with a quality woman who is ready to be a wife and ready to help him build a family. So I'm going to get ready to wrap up tonight's stream. I want to thank everybody for coming out to tonight's stream. And before I go, I'm going to talk about my books, Isis Legacy and East Team Horror of the Hyena Woman. You can pick up these 2022 SJS Direct books right now on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. And my upcoming comic, John Haynes at Death Store. I want to leave a link to that again so that you guys will go out here and check out that, sign up for that Kickstarter, because that is going to be the first comic on the SJS Direct imprint, and I don't want you guys to miss it. It's going to be launching on June 22nd, and there's going to be a lot of stretch goal rewards, and I really want to get this project funded, and I can't do that without your help. So I'm asking everybody to sign up. We've got 41 signed up now. I want to get the numbers up to 50 at least. So I'm asking everybody to sign up for the John Haynes at Death Store Kickstarter and put in a pledge on June 22nd. So I want to thank everybody for coming out to tonight's stream, and I hope you'll be there for next week's stream. Have a great evening and have a good night.